Welcome back to AI Explained. I'm super stoked for this one because you guys sent in some fascinating stuff. And today we're diving deep into AI models.
Deep.
Specifically, a new one called DeepSeek V3.
Yeah.
It's causing a bit of a stir online.
It is, and for a peculiar reason, actually.
Really?
On the surface, DeepSeek V3 has some impressive skills in text-based tasks. Pretty similar to ChatGPT, coding, writing essays, that sort of thing.
Oh, cool.
But there's a twist.
Okay. I'm intrigued. I gotta know.
It seems to believe it IS ChatGPT.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah, we have some of its responses here, and they're wild.
Like what? Give me an example.
Well, imagine asking about its origins, and it insists that it's a version of OpenAI's GPT-4 model.
Whoa, so it's not just like a really good copycat or something?
No, it goes beyond just claiming that.
Okay.
You could ask it about its own API, and it'll direct you to OpenAI's. It's like it's absorbed ChatGPT's identity.
That's bizarre.
Even down to telling the same jokes.
So how is that even possible?
What?
I mean, is this some kind of elaborate prank?
Well, remember that AI models learn from massive amounts of data, picking up patterns and relationships to generate output.
Okay.
So it's possible that DeepSeek V3's training data included a big chunk of text generated by ChatGPT itself.
So it's learned to sound like ChatGPT because it was basically fed ChatGPT.
Exactly.
That's kind of unsettling, isn't it?
Yeah.
Makes you wonder about like the integrity of the information it's giving you.
Absolutely. And it's not just about mimicking style either.
Okay.
Training on another model's output can actually lead to a decrease in accuracy.
Really?
And it can even introduce new problems.
Huh. Okay, like what?
Well, think of it this way.
Okay.
If you make a photocopy of a photocopy,
Right.
each copy loses a bit of detail and clarity, right?
Yeah, like a game of AI telephone.
Exactly.
But what are the implications of that? What could actually go wrong?
So imagine this DeepSeek V3, having learned from ChatGPT, starts showing biases towards certain topics or viewpoints.
Oh, no.
Simply because that's what was in the data it was trained on.
Oh, wow.
It could also lead to what we call hallucinations in AI.
Hallucinations. AI is hallucinating now.
Well,
This is getting weirder and weirder.
it's not seeing things, but sometimes in its eagerness to mimic patterns, the model generates outputs that are totally made up.
Oh, no.
Or nonsensical, even though they might sound convincing at first.
That AS unsettling.
Yeah.
It's like DeepSeek V3 absorbed not just ChatGPT's style, but like potentially its flaws as well.
That's a key concern, and it raises questions about the ethical use of training data.
Yeah, definitely.
For example, OpenAI's terms of service
Right.
explicitly prohibit using its outputs to train competing models.
That makes sense. It's their intellectual property after all.
Exactly.
But it also makes you wonder if copying is so easy.
Yeah.
What does that even say about genuine innovation in AI?
That's a great point, and Sam Altman, OpenAI's CEO, actually spoke about this recently. He highlighted the challenge of creating something truly new and risky in AI.
Yeah.
Contrasting it with the relative ease of just replicating what's already out there.
So in a field as competitive as AI, is there like pressure to prioritize speed over genuine innovation?
Definitely. And this desire to deliver results
Right.
quickly might lead to shortcuts like using another model's output for training,
Right.
even if it has ethical and technical drawbacks.
It also brings up another issue that's been on my mind.
What's that?
The rise of what some people are calling AI slop on the internet.
Oh, yeah.
We've got AI-powered content farms churning out generic articles, bots flooding social media with comments. It's everywhere.
It is.
And this proliferation of AI-generated content, this AI slop, raises a critical question.
What's that?
As the internet gets saturated with it, how do we ensure the quality and integrity of the data that's used to train future AI models?
That's a great question.
It's like trying to bake a cake with ingredients that are already half-baked. You're not going to get the same result.
Exactly.
And this like contamination of training data could have significant implications for the future of AI, right?
Absolutely.
Huge implications.
Okay, so we're in potentially dangerous territory here.
Yeah, it seems so.
But before we spiral, let's take a breath and unpack this a bit more.
Sounds good to me.
Because I think there's a lot to learn from this whole DeepSeek V3 situation.
Yeah, definitely.
So when we come back, we'll dig deeper into the potential consequences of this AI mimicry and explore some possible solutions.
Sounds like a plan.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it could lead to a cycle of like diminishing returns where models become increasingly homogenized
Right.
and less capable of genuine innovation.
It's almost like AI starting to eat its own tail.
That's a very apt analogy.
Yeah.
And this brings us back to DeepSeek V3.
Okay.
While we can't say for sure how it came to believe it was ChatGPT,
Right.
there's another possibility to consider.
Okay. What's up?
Model distillation. Model distillation. That sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But it's a real technique used in AI development.
Okay.
Essentially, it involves trying to replicate the knowledge of a larger, more complex model
Right.
in a smaller, more efficient one.
So kind of like creating a mini-me version of a larger AI model.
Exactly.
Okay. And would that be a good thing? I mean, wouldn't that make AI more accessible?
Potentially, yeah.
Okay.
Think of it like trying to create a CliffsNotes version of a massive textbook.
Mm-hmm.
You want the smaller model to retain the core knowledge without all the bulk.
Right.
But it's a very delicate process.
So
It can easily go wrong.
I see where you're going with this.
Yeah.
What could go wrong with this distillation process?
Well, for one, you risk inheriting and amplifying the biases and flaws of the original model.
Oh.
It's like creating a concentrated dose of a potent substance.
Okay.
Both the positive and negative aspects are magnified.
Right.
Imagine if GPT-4 has a tendency to generate biased language or spread misinformation.
Oh, no.
Those same tendencies could be passed down to the smaller model,
Why?
potentially becoming even more pronounced.
That's a bit concerning.
Yeah,
Could that be what's happening with DeepSeek V3?
it's certainly a possibility.
Okay.
If DeepSeek V3 was created using model distillation techniques based on GPT-4,
Right.
it could explain why it seems to have inherited some of ChatGPT's quirks and potentially its shortcomings as well.
That makes sense. But it also raises questions about transparency in AI development.
Yeah,
Shouldn't developers be upfront about the techniques they use,
definitely.
especially if it involves like borrowing from other models?
Transparency is crucial,
Yeah,
especially in a field as impactful as AI.
absolutely.
Users have a right to know how models are developed,
Right.
what data they're trained on, what potential biases they might exhibit.
It's like the old saying, trust but verify.
Exactly.
We can't just blindly trust these AI systems.
No.
We need to understand how they work, what their limitations are,
For sure.
what potential risks they might pose.
Precisely. And as users become more discerning
Yeah.
and demand greater transparency, developers will be compelled to adopt more ethical and responsible development practices.
I hope so.
It's a positive feedback loop
Yeah,
that will ultimately benefit the entire AI ecosystem.
that's encouraging. So as we see more and more of these AI models emerging,
Yeah.
what can developers do to ensure they're creating genuinely innovative systems?
Well, for one, they can focus on exploring new architectures
Okay.
and training methodologies
Right.
that move beyond simply mimicking existing models.
Mm-hmm.
This could involve experimenting with different types of data,
Okay.
exploring alternative learning algorithms,
Well-
or even challenging the fundamental assumptions about how AI systems should be designed.
So instead of just copying what works, developers need to be pushing the boundaries,
Exactly.
experimenting, taking risks.
Absolutely. True innovation often comes from stepping outside of comfort zones and challenging the status quo.
Okay.
The AI field is still relatively young,
Yeah.
and there's immense potential for groundbreaking discoveries and advancements
Yeah.
if developers are willing to think outside the box.
That's exciting to think about. It also makes you realize that this whole DeepSeek V3 situation,
Yeah.
while a bit strange and concerning,
Right.
is actually a valuable learning experience for the entire AI community.
I couldn't agree more. It highlights the complexities of AI development, the ethical considerations surrounding training data,
Yeah.
and the importance of transparency and responsible innovation.
Right.
It's a reminder that AI, for all its potential benefits,
Yeah.
is still a tool created by humans,
Right.
and therefore subject to human flaws and biases.
It's also a reminder that we as users of AI
Yes,
have a role to play in shaping its future.
for sure.
We need to be critical thinkers,
Absolutely.
demanding transparency,
Yes.
and holding developers accountable for creating ethical and responsible AI systems.
Absolutely. The future of AI is not predetermined.
Right.
It's a collaborative effort
Yeah.
that involves developers, users, policymakers, and society as a whole.
Yeah, I like that.
By engaging in open and honest conversations about the challenges and opportunities presented by AI,
Yeah.
we can work together to ensure that this powerful technology is used for good.
Well said. It feels like we've only just scratched the surface, but we're out of time for this deep dive.
It has been a fascinating exploration.
Yeah, it really has.
I think the key takeaway here is that the AI landscape is constantly evolving.
Right.
And as we encounter new situations like the one with DeepSeek V3, it's crucial to approach them with a critical yet optimistic mindset.
I like that. Critical yet optimistic.
Yeah.
We need to acknowledge the potential pitfalls,
Hmm.
but also embrace the incredible possibilities AI offers.
Absolutely.
And a big part of that is staying informed and engaged like you're doing right now by listening to this deep dive.
Exactly. The more we understand about how AI works, the better equipped we'll be to navigate its complexities and harness its power for good.
So to recap, we started by unraveling the mystery of DeepSeek V3,
Right.
the AI model that seems to think it's ChatGPT.
Right.
We explored how training data can significantly impact an AI's behavior,
Yeah.
even to the point of mimicking another model.
Uh-huh.
We then dove into the potential consequences of this mimicry,
Right.
from decreased accuracy to inheriting biases, and even generating those AI hallucinations.
Exactly. And we discussed the ethical considerations involved.
Right, like OpenAI's terms of service
Exactly.
and the importance of transparency in AI development.
Absolutely. We even touched on the rise of AI slop on the internet.
Right.
And the challenge of ensuring data quality for future AI models.
Yeah, that's a lot to think about.
It is.
But ultimately, I feel hopeful.
Yeah.
The fact that we're having these conversations, questioning the status quo and pushing for greater transparency, that's a sign that we're moving in the right direction.
I agree. The future of AI is being shaped right now.
Yeah.
And it's up to all of us,
Yeah.
developers, users, and everyone in between, to ensure it's a future we can all be proud of.
And on that note, I want to thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the world of AI.
It's been a pleasure.
We hope you found it insightful and engaging.
And we encourage you to keep exploring.
Yes, keep questioning.
And keep the conversation going.
If you enjoyed this deep dive, be sure to subscribe to AI Explained for more fascinating explorations into the world of artificial intelligence. We'll have more insightful discussions, expert analysis, and of course more deep dives into the topics that matter most to you. Until next time, keep learning and stay curious.